Hey, I want to welcome our viewers to our podcast. I thought it was going to be a golf podcast, but we're not going to do golf today. We're going to do Kennesaw happenings. My name is Golfer Pete, and we're on a podcast with Richard and Sherrie. And we before we went on, we had some fun just talking about a few things because I want to give a shout out to Tony who told us about Sherrie and Richard. So thank you, Tony, for that. So just introduce yourself, Sherrie, who you are, so our viewers can have an idea who they're listening to today and just what you do. And then we'll go to Richard and he'll do the same thing.
Well, I'm Sherrie, sometimes known as Mrs. Claus. I'm with the Lights of Joy, and I'm the one that goes and repairs all the lights. So what you see that comes down, my job's to fix them. If something needs to be painted, I paint it. And then about 4 times a season, I'm out there as Mrs. Claus and enjoying the children and handing out candy canes.
That's a beautiful, we'll get into a little bit of that, but I can't think of anything better to do.
Right.
So that's beautiful. Richard, give our viewers a little idea of yourself.
Well, I'm Richard, and my job is to plan the overall project every year, to hire the guys to help put it together. We start working on it in August. Every year, it takes about 2,000 hours to pull it off. So we end up with a lot of work in the trees. Our display is all about trees. So we have 246 live trees with lights in them, which is quite unique compared to other displays. And we're all about bringing joy to people. Our mission is to bring a little joy to everyone we meet. And we hope that they come and enjoy themselves, walk around for a while. And we see kids running around at night and screaming and yelling, and that really kind of makes it all worthwhile to us.
Now, that's awesome. Do you wear like earmuffs? Because, I know it just is constant noise out there. I always wondered inside the house, like, how do you function during the December timeframe of Christmas?
It really isn't that loud in the house. We love hearing the noise and hearing the children's laughter, and I'll go and peek out the window and see, how many children are out there, and we just want everybody to have a great time. Just come for 15, 20 minutes and just enjoy life.
Yes.
Leave what's out there, and come have some fun.
And we say, leave your problems at home, come enjoy yourself for a little time, and then when you leave, you can go back to your problems, but just forget about it for a while.
And you do, because I was telling before we came on, I have so many years of pictures that I put together because we would take the grandkids out there and go through there. And it was like the highlight to walk around because, everybody is familiar with around here in the Cobb County area, Life College,
Yes.
And they do a good job,
Mm-hmm.
but there's nothing like what y'all do. There is nothing even close to it.
It is a lot different than Life College.
Yes.
A lot different.
Yes.
And we have the circular driveway that people can walk around and enjoy seeing the lights up close. And that makes a big difference.
Well, tell our viewers, what was the original thought first, how many years have you been doing it? And what was the thought putting this together? Because it's not like, hey, let's just do a light on our house.
And it's changed a whole lot over the years. The last 6 years, we've had this, what we call the inside circle open. And we like for people to walk around the circle and see the inside, because about half of the lights are on the inside. You can't really see them very well, or if at all, from the street.
Mm-hmm.
But we've been doing this for like 29 years. And for many, many years, it was just a drive-by. And when I started out with it, I planted 60 holly bushes across the front of the yard, thinking, well, I'm going to try to make the home private and secluded. It sits about 300 feet back from the street. So I'll put these holly bushes up there. Well, I had the brilliant idea, why don't you put a string of lights on each one of the holly bushes? So I did that, and that wasn't too difficult. And then the next year they grew a little bit, so maybe it took 2 or 3 strings of lights for each one. And I said, well, maybe I'll put some lights on the gate. We put a few lights on the gate, and then the next year I'm like, well, maybe I need to put some lights on the trees behind the gate and the bushes in front of the gate and the mailbox. And next thing you know, we're putting lights in 246 trees. And we have, I don't know how many, more than 1,000 azaleas and camellias. We put lights on all of those. And so our spring lights of joy is azaleas. Our Christmas lights of joy is Christmas lights. And our goal is, like I say, to bring joy to everyone.
Well, you have accomplished that and exceeded that too. I mean, to understand the story behind 29 years. So each year, are you all sitting down and saying, like, what else are we going to do to add to this next year? How does that go into a conversation?
Well, I don't think we just have a sit down planning session.
Mm-hmm.
I go out and find some of the more of the figures that go up, and
Okay.
I'm like, okay, well, Richard, we've done this, this, and this. This year we have a giant Christmas ornament that's just an arch, and they can walk through that to go down a path, and it's a lovely place to take a picture. I try to make little vignettes and things. So every year I'm thinking, well, if I have a gingerbread house, how about I put candy with it this year, or a gingerbread man and woman, or I've got 4 penguins. Let's add, so that's what I do. Richard plans the areas of tree colors. Okay, so over here we have blue lights and white lights, or green and purple over here, and he makes them all color coordinated. But that's about all of our planning session.
Yeah, we every year I think about what I'm going to do for the next year, and we've been sort of planning for a new bike path to happen on our property, because they put a new bike path on McCollum Parkway, and we signed a contract with the city, gosh, 2.5, almost 3 years ago, where they're pretty much going to destroy the west end of our property and knock out about 10 or 15 of our big, tall, 15, 20-foot holly bushes that are now Christmas trees.
Mm-hmm.
And that hasn't happened yet. So we've got a big plan when it does happen, but it hasn't happened. So we're rocking along with business as usual. And but every year we try to add some things. This year I added I think there were 3 new electronic trees and a number of other things as well.
Well, you think about, we just enjoy the end result, but you have to, as a person that's enjoyed it for a number of years, you have to to understand what goes in. And even when I said, I just said it because I didn't even realize what I was saying. That, so you started in November. And you go, no, August. You think like you just have this magic wand and you just put the magic wand on there and everything appears. No, there's a lot of work that goes into it. So tell our viewers, like, do you store everything in a particular place? And, how many people are involved in putting this together? Like actual people?
It's a big project. It's about 2,000 hours of work every year to put it up. And we start in August. I have a crew of 4 or 5 guys that we hire every weekend. They come to work, and we work and try to put up the lights. It takes about half of the amount of time just doing the trees. Every year we don't take the lights out of the trees because you can't climb up there and take them down. A lot of them have been put up with a boom lift. But we go back and try to repair the ones that are not working and replace them with new lights. Mm-hmm. Over the last 5-6 years, we've replaced all the lights with LED lights. Oh. So that's how we're able to add so many more lights, is that I say Lights of Joy has gone green because we have converted everything to LED lights. So we quadrupled our light count in 6 years and cut the power bill in half, cut the amps of power that it draws in half. But our storage, we have a big basement in our house, and 3 years ago, we built a big garage behind the house as well.
Yep, I remember.
With an attic in it, and we fill the attic up with Christmas trees and all the figures that Sherrie keeps looking good every year. This year, she repainted almost every one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have adequate storage for everything at the moment.
Yeah, I like that. At the
I
moment.
guess that's a restriction that kind of prevents you from doing too much more. And
Yeah.
and truthfully, we don't have any more trees really we could put lights in. So we pretty much got them all.
And in March is when I start.
Wow.
Because all of the lights that they have brought in off of all of those hundreds of azaleas, they wrap them up and put them in the storage boxes. I pull out every single one of those strands starting in March and seeing which lights don't work on the strands.
Okay.
And I sit there in my, recliner chair and I go through light after light after light, trying to repair them. And this year between Richard and I, we have repaired about 1,200 strands of lights, which is a huge savings of having to rebuy these kind of the light strands. Yeah.
I don't know if you'll want to share this, but maybe I've always was curious, like, what kind of electrical bill do you have?
Oh, that's the most asked question.
Really?
Yes.
It's the most asked question, and it's the lowest expense.
Really? Okay.
Truthfully, it is. It's always been the lowest expense. We spend more in labor in one day than we spend on the electric bill for the entire season.
Holy mackerel.
It's with the LED lights, the ratio is like 1 to 11 strings of incandescent lights to LED lights that you can have with the same amount of power. So our power bill is really only about 3% of the total.
Wow.
So it's become insignificant, but that is the most asked question.
Yes.
Okay.
And we have a fun fact sign out in the front that
I've seen it. Yeah.
people read it. Some people pass by
Yeah.
it. But it says on there that the electric bill is only 3% of the total. So it's not a big factor.
Wow, that's interesting that you all say that. And so tell our viewers, like, 29 years, what are some of like the highlights of that journey that you can share with people running into you, sharing their experiences? Give our viewers some of that.
I can remember one little girl, she comes up and she's like, does Santa Claus live here? And that just like, no, honey, he's in the North Pole. We're just Santa's elves and helpers here, But that was lovely. And another little boy runs up to me, and his mom had whispered his name to me when I was handing out candy canes. And I'm like, hey, and I think his name was John. And I gave John a big hug. He's like, you're real. You're really real. You know my name, So that is a wonderful feeling that I get from doing that.
Yes.
We've had people get engaged.
Really?
Yes.
Nice.
Set it up. Sometimes like over at our fountain, we have like a little water fountain that people sometimes throw a quarter in and make a wish. But they got engaged right standing over there. And where was the other one, Richard?
We've had a number of people get engaged in what we call the Tunnel of Joy. The Tunnel of Joy is a sort of a light tunnel we created with over 100,000 lights, and it's just a bunch of basically bamboo and pipes wrapped in white lights that looks very unique, and it's one of our features, and that's a real popular place for people to get engaged. In fact, 2 years ago, this guy came in, he had in lights the letters that said, marry me. And somehow he got his friends to take his girlfriend around the circle and not see him put that out. And he managed to get people to stay away for just a few minutes to let him propose to his girlfriend. She walked up and they blindfolded her.
Yes.
Right.
Before she walked into the light tunnel. So she walked in and he says, okay, you can take the blindfold off now. and he's got in lights on the driveway,
Mhm.
"Marry me," and he proposed to her right there.
Yeah.
So it was very cool.
Wow. You may be rivaling like Las Vegas for a marriage destiny. So our viewers out there, if you want to propose,
Yeah, propose.
you're not the first one.
Yeah.
So you'll just be following some tradition here
Yeah.
in the area. So tell our viewers, I know everybody knows about it, but tell our viewers where they can enjoy the lights this year.
We're located on Ben King Road in Kennesaw, Georgia. It's 1 mile off of I-75, very easy to get to. Everybody has GPS now, so just put Ben King Road, Kennesaw, Georgia. You don't even need the street number. I promise you, if you find Ben King Road, you'll find our lights.
Yeah. Yeah.
And for those people that love music, we do have music that's attached to our light show.
Mhm.
And we have a professional trombonist, our son, and he's in the Navy now, playing for the Navy Fleet Band. But he has a group of trombonists that will come and play Christmas carols on the 20th and the 21st of December. And so you can enjoy some live brass music, all trombones.
These guys are all professionals. These are not junior high and high school people. These are people with their master's degree and PhD, so forth. They come and play, and they're outstanding musicians.
Yeah, I know all you have to do is get within like a mile and it glows like the sky, So yeah, you're not going to have any problem if you get close. Right. You're going to be able to be almost like a magnet pulled into the show. Now, what would you say? Do you have any idea how many cars go by there on a yearly basis?
Oh, cars, no.
Cars, we have no idea.
Okay.
We do have a counter, though. We have a laser counter that counts the people that come in. And we know that last year we had more than 69,000 people walk around our circle.
Wow.
We had several nights with more than 4,000 people in one night. If you can imagine, in a fairly small driveway, we might have 400 or 500 people at any one point in time out there all banging into each other.
Yeah.
Just running around having a good time, waiting in line, because I think the most photographic place in Atlanta during Christmas is the Tunnel of Joy. So they wait in line to get in there and take pictures of their family and their kids in the tunnel. But we have a lot of people. I mean, and it's
never any problems. The people are
that is
kind this time of year. They're there for the joy of the lights, and they will stand in line. There's no arguing, no pushing, no shoving to get into the Tunnel of Joy. It's just a wonderful, wonderful experience.
Yeah, I heard something on a podcast the other day and they were talking about beach. Why do we never have any disagreements at the beach? Because it's such an enjoyable place to be. So I would think the same thing would be here is you put all your problems aside. Like if the person jumps in front of you for a picture, who cares? You're going to get it eventually. So it makes sense that you have that. And I will tell our viewers that, if you go over to Life College, it's spread out all over the place. You're talking about a very small footprint.
Yes.
That all these lights, how many lights total are on display?
We know there are more than 1.2 million lights this year. I actually haven't measured the power this year, but last year, every year we measure the power and how many amps it draws, and then we calculate how many lights we have based on the power draw. Okay. This year, we kept track of how many lights we took down versus how many we put up. So we know it's well over 1.2 million lights.
Wow. And so when Tony told me about you, Sherrie, and Bartina called you, like, are you out in the community, like you said, giving out some candy canes and things? What do you do as far as just involvement in the community to promote?
Promotion? Mostly, I'm just, if I'm out somewhere, I'll hand somebody one of our business cards if I'm out somewhere. I just do Mrs. Claus 4 or 5 times right there in the light display. I'll stand out in the front, usually at the front of the driveway, and give them so they can have their candy cane as they're walking around. And it also, on the weekends, it gets so crowded, it helps distract the children from the wait. They've got a piece of candy, and they don't get so rambunctious or anxiety of being in a crowd and waiting their turn, because they've got a candy cane.
Right.
So that makes a big difference.
We've been very fortunate that we've had some of the media take us on, and Marietta Daily Journal has probably been our biggest friend for the last 3 years. They put us in a 4-page spread last November in the Cobb Life magazine, which is an insert in the Marietta Daily Journal. And the 2 years before, they featured us on the front page of the paper. So we got a really good early start when they did that. And then we're on the AJC online. And now we're on all the top 15, top 25 list of displays in Georgia. We're usually the first residential display that's listed. They start out with all the commercial displays, and then we'll be first or second after that. But by far, we have more lights than any other residential display.
Yeah, I would say there isn't anybody close to you.
No, there's nobody close, really.
Yeah.
I hear the guys that are putting up their display. I'm on a Facebook page with a Christmas light enthusiast group, and they talk about how much trouble they're having, but they don't start working on it till the second week in November. And then they're complaining they can't get it on the week of Thanksgiving. I'm like, well, we started in August and we're ready to go when Thanksgiving gets here.
Yeah, that, 29 years, and you're constantly adding and making different changes, and based on, what would you say, like, for our people that haven't been there and they're afraid of crowds, what's some of the better days during the week that aren't as busy as the weekends?
I would say Monday through Wednesday are the best days if you don't like a big crowd. The closer and closer it gets to Christmas, even Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday will have a lot of people, but not 1,000 to 4,000, this kind of stuff on a Monday. And it's easily accessible. You just walk across the street from the church parking lot, and if that's full, down the street is the Big Shanty Intermediate School, and you can park in their parking lot and walk down the sidewalk. I always recommend bring a flashlight. I know everybody has a cell phone with a flashlight, but a small flashlight. So if you're crossing the street, that people can see you, just to be more safe.
Oh, that's good. Now, I know our viewers are thinking of this question. How many candy canes do you go through a season?
Well, last year I probably went through close to 1,000 candy canes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, do you order them direct from Candy Cane City?
Amazon.
Yes. Oh, yeah. So you order it direct. Yeah.
She's out there on busy nights. It's amazing. I'll go out there and she'll take 200 to start with.
Yeah.
And within 20 minutes, there have been 200 or more kids come by and take them. She says, you got to go back to the house and get some more candy canes. I'm out already.
Wow.
So we'll have, really big crowds on those nights.
Yeah.
Well, okay. I always want to know this too. This is maybe self-serving. So this cost a lot of money. So I know you play golf at Pine Tree, and that's good. What finances this hobby, passion, love? What do you do for a living, Richard and Sherrie?
I was a practicing CPA with a firm called HLB Gross Collins for my entire career. And I bought from them a wealth management company called Avid Wealth Management.
Okay.
About 10 years ago. And I'm still working. I'm retirement age, but I'm still working full time. I manage portfolios for people.
Okay.
So, we're very fortunate that we have the resources to do this.
Yes.
We do ask for donations, and about 20% of the people donate some money. That helps. And We've actually incorporated Lights of Joy into a 501c3. We have 20 sponsors this year that have sponsored us. So we get a little bit of financial help as well.
Okay.
All the money goes into the Lights of Joy fund, and we use that money to pay for the next year. Although it only covers about maybe 20 to 30% of the total cost. Most of it we fund ourselves.
Well, I want to encourage you to keep working, because I know it's not inexpensive to do this, but also we'll put in the show notes a link for people, our viewers, that want to keep the donations coming, because, the joy that you bring to the area and to people is unmatched. So we'll put links on the show notes for our viewers to be able to, keep it going. That's awesome. To have a 501 and sponsors. I love that. So if you're interested in being a sponsor, we'll, reach out to them. I want you, give our viewers how to contact you, and we'll put some links in the show notes too, but go ahead and do that.
Well, if you want to call my cell phone, you could do that. It's 404-372-5705. You can find us on lightsofjoy.net. We have a website. Any way you want to contact us, my email is rtaylor@avidwealth.com.
We're on Facebook.
We're on Facebook.
Awesome.
We're all over Facebook. I'll show you this time of year, because people take our post and spread it to their friends. So it becomes really a big thing. You can contact us through Instagram or something like that as well.
We'll make sure we put all your links in the show notes. So if you're driving and you're listening to this, just go to the show notes and you'll be able to access and be able to do what they just shared with you. So as we wind down, what would you say you would want our listeners to take away? What insights would y'all share? I'll go, since we went Sherrie first, we'll go Richard, you first, and then Sherrie, I want to see if you can finish this up. So what would you want our viewers to know?
Well, I think we're doing this for the enjoyment of the public, and we invite everyone to come. We don't discriminate. You come no matter what age you are, what race you are, what nationality, what your religion is. We have people, the Jewish people make fun of me saying, well, it's a Christmas display, why should I come? I said, you can call it a holiday display and you can come anyway.
Yeah.
And they do. But our objective is, and our mission is, to bring a little joy to everyone we meet. And I think we try to hold true to that mission. We try to make it as enjoyable as possible for everyone that comes. And hopefully they keep coming.
I will guarantee you they will. So Sherrie, what would you like our viewers to take away?
Well, as Rich was saying, it's our mission. A lot of people will try to go on mission trips and go to a foreign country to bring joy. Well, people need joy right here. It's a hard time in our world. A lot of people are having troubles, whether you're local or not local. We want you to find some joy right here in Kennesaw, Georgia. And you can look online if you're in another state and look at our lights online. And I think you will find some joy in just looking at our lights. And you can even come, even if you're in a wheelchair. I want everybody to know, even handicap, it's handicap accessible. You can just roll it up the driveway, around the driveway. Everybody should come and find the joy of our lights.
Well, there are no steps. You can wheel from the church parking lot down the deceleration lane into our driveway. There's not a single step.
Wow. For our physically challenged listeners, this is the place to go to. Yes. Well, thank you. Thank you both for sharing a little bit of the joy that you're behind the scenes joy. And we want to encourage our viewers to go see this year's display, because there's going to be more than there was last year.
Yes.
So thank you so much for being a guest on Kennesaw Happenings.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.